Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shan. I go by Blooming Shan on all socials. If you are new here, please stop and hit that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, share with your friends, like, and leave a comment. I mentioned on Instagram before that I would do a video sharing my experience with dating, what it's like for me, sharing some tips that I picked up along the way. And I did also share off a particular dating experience that I had. I shared that on Instagram and I was amused to see the responses that I got, how different people view dating. So I know there are a lot of people who are apprehensive about dating. If you are interested to hear more, to hear my thoughts, to hear my experiences, stay tuned. I did make a list of things that I wanted to share about dating that I think a lot of people, if you are new to the dating scene, if you're considering putting yourself back out there, if you are getting out of a relationship and you're thinking about having to start over, these are things that I learned. Now, of course, I am not a professional, but I have gone on a couple of dates. I have gone through the seasons. I have given myself enough grace, enough time to go through the dating pool. So for me, I'm not as scared of dating as many people are, only because I treat dating for what it is. I think I'm finally at the place where I understand what dating is and I take it for what it is. And once you do that, once you really know what it is, once you start to treat it like what it is and not make too much of it and not be too flustered with the whole idea of meeting someone and having to meet someone and having to have someone, then you find that it becomes a lot easier. Now, one of the first things, I did not note this, but I want to say, when you are ready to date, just be clear, be sure with yourself that you are not dating because you're lonely. Do not date, do not consider putting yourself out there and meeting someone because you feel like you should have that and you feel like in this season it would be nice to have someone. That just off the bat is the wrong reason to be dating if you are looking to find something meaningful. So that right there is definitely not the right way to go about it, because a lot of times I don't know if I heard this or I saw this quote before where it said sometimes we're not lonely, we're just bored. And when I heard that, I'm like, wow, a word, because it's true. Sometimes we just need to find activities to engage in. We just need to find things to do to occupy our time, to occupy our minds, and then you'll find that, okay, so I maybe really don't need someone. So first thing first, ensure that you know why you are dating and you are not dating out of loneliness. Be honest about where you are, where you want to be, and who you want to attract. Be honest about who you are, where you want to be, and who you want to attract. A lot of times I think we get caught up because how do you figure out the kind of person that you want to be with if you haven't figured out yourself and where you are? What are you able to offer? What are you able to offer in the season? It's kind of like women who I hear say, okay, I'm looking for a high value man, but they're not high value women. And based on who they are, they will not align with the expectations of a high value man. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be real with yourself. Where are you right now in life? What are you expecting in life? The kind of man that you're saying that you want to be with or you want to attract, is this the kind of man that will be attracted to you? Are you the kind of woman that that kind of man deserves? So I think one of the first things is you have to analyze where you are, what it is that you can offer in this season, because you find that people go on the dating scene and they're not even emotionally available because they're still dealing with trauma. They're still suffering from things, and so now they go out there and they're like, oh, I want a man who can communicate, I want a man who is soft and gentle, I want a man who treats me like a princess. But are you able to attract that kind of man if you are operating in your masculine? If you are still acting like a man, if you are still if you still have those guards up, if you are still in survival mode, can you really attract the kind of man that you're saying that you want? So that is a question. And of course, my platform is, I speak to women mostly, but of course it goes for men too. If you're saying, oh, you want a woman who's a homemaker, you want a woman who's gentle, who's nurturing, you want a woman who's what? But at the same time, you are not financially stable. You are not operating in your masculine for the most part. You are the kind of man who is okay with seeing a woman struggle and not respond to that, not want to change that, not want to do what is necessary to make her life better. How do you think you're going to attract a kind of, oh, I want a woman who's attractive, I want a woman who's outgoing, and I want her to be submissive, and I want her to be, where are you right now? Are you at the place in your life where you can attract that woman and keep her around? Are you aligned with that woman? So many times the truth is that we're just not honest with ourselves. We have not done any form of self-analyzation to know what can we offer, and if it is that what we are expecting, we are aligned with that. So that is key. Another thing is, do not overshare. I don't care where this comes on the list. I learned a lot of times, especially if we're genuine, right? And we're trying to meet someone who's genuine, we're trying to attract that kind of thing. We're trying to build a foundation of just being open and honest and being clear, wearing our hearts on our sleeves. We tend to overshare, and that is not something that you do in the dating phase. We tend to share too much, especially our traumas. We want to put it out there. So this person, and I think it comes from a good place and it comes from a genuine place, but oftentimes it's not received well. So you want to tell this person the experiences that you've had, and this person hurt you and that person hurt you, and you had to heal yourself from this. Really, I think the idea of doing that is just so this person can understand how fragile you are. This person can understand what your triggers are and what you went through, and you're pretty much saying, hey, I went through all this, so I'm letting you know you don't put me through that, so you can protect me from that. But oftentimes that's not how it works out. You might have healed from it, but now you're telling this person too much, you're letting them in too far. So next thing you know, this person is like, oh my God, this person is damaged, this person have been through a lot. This is not something that you want to talk about during the dating phase. I think you take it in strides as you get to know the person, as you open up more, as you let your guards down more, and you figure, okay, this is a person that can receive me, this is a person that I can pour myself into. I think timing is everything. So when you are dating, and maybe I should have said this in the beginning, when I'm speaking of dating, I'm not speaking of sex. I am not speaking of relationships that people label as dating because they do not want to accept commitment. A lot of people hide behind, oh, we're just dating, because they don't want to accept the responsibilities that come from being in a relationship or being committed. So they call it that so they can shy away. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about people being intentional about wanting to be into a relationship, putting in the work, getting to know people, seeing if they align with these people, having the hard conversations, doing what is necessary to build something, to figure out if this person is worth you being in a relationship with. So that is what I'm speaking about here, right? So again, do not overshare. Date as many people as you need to date. Now, I know that is controversial for many, because again, if you're not thinking of dating like I am, or what I'm speaking of here, what you might hear is, oh, she's saying be promiscuous. No, because if you are not sleeping with people, if you are not if you're not forming commitments or forming bonds with people, there is no harm in getting to know multiple people at the same time. Like for me, I view it this way. I am 32 years old. I do not want to be spending 5 months with one guy and see if it goes somewhere, and then it doesn't, and then I spend another 6 months with another guy, it doesn't go anywhere, then you spend 3 months. I don't want to do that. So what I encourage people to do is date as many people as you need to date, as many as you can tolerate, because many people can only focus on one person at the same time. But the truth is, in the initial phase, when you're just talking, you're just seeing who people are, you're just trying to see if you're worth taking it to the next step. Treat it like an interview. Treat it like, an interview process. You'll see companies and they have one position available, and you will find that they're interviewing multiple people over a period of days, weeks, even months, maybe, and it's only one position available. Why? Because they're trying to find the most suitable candidate. So what you find is everyone comes in for an initial interview just to get to know, just to see if this person looks the part, to see if is this a person that looks like they're good for this position. Because of course that's what the initial meet is. The first date, first get to know is trying to figure out, okay, the physical, because clearly we can't look at people and see who they are on the inside. So it's more like, can I see myself waking up to this person every morning? Can I see myself having children with this person? Can I see myself standing next to you on a regular day? Can I see myself laying next to you when I'm feeling broken? Or that's the kind of thing that happens on the first date. It's the preliminary rounds where you're just like, okay, do you look the part? You ask a few questions to see if they answer ideally, to see if they know much about the role that you have available. Those kind of things, you get that out of the way, and then we consider, okay, now you need to figure out if you can shortlist. So you might have started out with X amount, and then you're like, yeah, only 4 people made it to the next round. And that's how you treat it. When you treat dating that way, you'll find that you don't have any emotional attachment, because you need to treat the person you are dating as a candidate to start. Is this person worthy of considering for a relationship? A lot of people go into dating like, wow, yes, this definitely looks like he could be my husband. He's tall, dark, and handsome. This is what I have on my list. Perfect. Men go in and they're like, yeah, she's thick. She's really thick. I can see my friends saying, yeah, you did well. And see, I like her nose if we have kids together. And then you start to find ways how to emotionally attach yourself to these people. All you had to do was just take your time, be patient. That's another one. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the person. You're not in a race. It's not a race. It's not a how fast can I get through this whole thing so I can be with this person. It's the let me take the time necessary. There is no rush. There is no rush for a first kiss or anything. It's really taking the necessary time to figure out, is this person worth it? Is this person worth building something with? Can I bring them around my family? That's important to you. That kind of thing. Dating is not the stage where we settle. You should not be dating and considering already while you're in the early parts of dating, oh, what I'm going to compromise on, whatever. No, I'm not talking about simple things like, okay, you would prefer the person being tall, dark, and handsome, but now he's tall, handsome, but he's not dark. I'm not talking about that. Those are things that you figure out. Can I date a light-skinned guy? Can I date a dark-skinned? Whatever it is that your preference is. I'm talking about the things that you require, the things that you've always known that this is what you're looking for in a mate. While you're dating, that's not the time to compromise on those things. So if you knew that, you've always known that you want a man who loves God, and you want a man who goes to church, and you want a man who can pray for you and pray over your children and pray over your family and cover you. And now you meet a guy and he ticks off most of the other things, but he doesn't go to church and he's not so strong in the faith. Dating is not the time to say, okay, well, I'll compromise on that. Nah, we're not at that point yet. Dating is where you're figuring out, it's either, is this person ideal to consider going into a relationship with? Oftentimes we start from the jump, the first date, you're like, how many children do you want? And he's like, oh, well, just one, if any. You know that you want a large family, but now you're like, yeah, he's cute. Maybe I can work with that. Maybe I can convince him otherwise. No. That brings me to my next point. State your requirements. Be very firm. Be very sure about what you want and state your requirements. And also attached to that is accept what this person says then. Now, again, people can change their views later on, whatever. But if this person says to you, I do not want children, please do not train your brain, your ears, and your mind to hear, maybe I just need to change his mind. Maybe he doesn't know that he wants, he wants kids. Maybe he doesn't know. I'm going to show him that I'm a good mother. I'm going to mother his niece, and I'm going to show him how I am with my nephew so he can see. I'm going to show her that I'm a good dad to my brother's kids, and she's going to change her mind. No, accept what they say. Now, if they change their mind and you end up being together later on, that's fine. But what the person says during dating is usually what you should accept for what it is. Don't say, oh, he's just saying that. If this person says, I'm not sure I want children, find out, what do you mean? What do you mean by you don't want children? Does this mean you just don't want to have children with anyone? Are you saying you don't know if you want children at all? These are things that you find out in the dating phase. It saves you so much trouble. It saves you being 3 years into a relationship and finding out that you want children. You've always wanted children. Now your partner is like, no, I told you I did not want them. Now you're at a deadlock. Because what do? Do I give up on my dreams of having children? Or, you know what I mean? So if you get these things out during the dating phase, then you can just move on. You can keep it stepping. Now, I stated requirements. State your requirements. Be very bold about what you're asking for. When you're dating, it's not the time to be a pick-me. There's so many women who are pick-me's when dating. Like, girl, what are you doing? Why do you need to do all that? Why do you need to be telling the guy, oh, you know you cannot clean the house. You know you cannot cook. Don't be telling these men when you're dating, I love a home-cooked meal, and I love it when my man comes home to a nice warm meal after work. Girl, you cannot cook. When you're dating is the time when you say what you offer, what you can offer, what you're willing to work on. It's not the time to front. It's not all talk and nothing. It's pretty much like those people who go into interviews and say, I've done this, I've done this, I've done that. And then the first day on the job, the boss is like, I thought you said you have expertise in this. Now you're like, no, state who you are, state what you want, state what you are willing to offer. Don't you know that you want a man? Because innately, most women I know, if not all, want a man who's a provider, who's a protector, Don't go into the dating phase because you're so worried that, oh, this guy's cute and he's not going to pay me any mind if I tell the truth. Don't go in there and be like, oh, it doesn't matter to me. A man's money doesn't matter to me. I make my own, so it doesn't matter. I don't need a man for his money. Girl, stop lying. If that's you for real, then be for real. But if that's not you and you know you love it when your man gives you grown men energy, say that from the jump. Say that. Say, listen, I really like men who are providers. What's the worst that can happen? He will know that he's very feminine and he's not about to provide, and then he'll just leave. Or he will say, yeah, not being real and accepting what the person said. And then later on, now you can hold a fire to him because now you can say, listen, I told you this is what I was looking for. Now the ball is in your court. But when you run in and you're like, oh, it don't matter to me what a man has to offer. I don't need a man for his finances. And then you really get a man who's not about to give you his finances. Then you're going to go call up your friends and say, oh, I can't believe he's... What you say? Be honest about what you're looking for. Be bold. Men, the same thing. If you know that you want a woman who can do this and do, you know that you prefer if your woman cooks. Don't be like, my mom raised me to be self-sufficient, so it don't matter to me if my woman cooks. I will cook. And you know you hate cooking. Tell the woman from the jump, hey, one of the things that I can help out in the house with, I don't mind cleaning, but I don't like cooking. I don't mind washing the clothes, but I don't like folding. Those are things that I get out the way from the jump. I like washing. I like having clean clothes. I like having a clean house, but I hate folding. And so when I'm dating someone, when we get into that, what we're talking about, the kind of home that we want and whatever, I'm like, listen, I would really love it if you're a folder because, baby, right? I would rather not. I'll do it if I have to, but I would rather not. These are the things that you put out there so this person doesn't come in thinking that they're getting a professional at this job, and then they find out that you're barely a rookie. You don't know anything. Be clear. You have your expectations. First of all, if you are dating and you don't have any expectations, stop dating. Stop dating. If you don't know if you don't have an idea what you're looking for or what you don't want, just leave dating alone. It is not for you. You have to know that. What are your requirements? What is it that you're looking for? Right? So that is another big thing, because people go in like, oh, I don't have any expectations one way or the other. If it works, it works. But what are you looking for? Because my mother always says a person who stands for nothing falls for anything. So if you're just out here just floating around like, I don't even know, and I guess when it comes, I'll know, you are lost. Leave the dating thing, spend some time by yourself, work on your healing. Just do something else. You mention your deal breakers and your non-negotiables. That's when you discuss those. Not 4 months into the relationship. Not 4 months into the relationship. That's not where you start talking about your deal breakers. You mention your deal breakers right out the gate, right off the bat. This is where you say, hey, I am dating to marry, if that is your goal. I am dating with the intention to start a family. That's your goal. This is what I am looking for. Hey, if this does not happen, this will happen. In order for this to happen, this is what needs to happen. That is where, like, for me, I tell men, like, listen, if you want out of the relationship, say that. And if you want out of the relationship, cheat. Because the two does pretty much the same thing. That's my deal breaker. I don't wait until we build something and, oh my God, this feels so good. Then you're going to say, oh, if you ever cheat on me. No. I want a man to know from the beginning that that is a deal breaker for me. So he knows. Don't play with me, because if you play with me, there will be repercussions, and I am the kind of woman who will hold you accountable for cheating. I don't play. I'm not like these other women out here who will fight because I'm not going to let a woman take. She can have you. You can go. Bye. Those are things that I get out in the dating. I make faithfulness, I make loyalty a requirement to be with me. You only get access to everything that I offer. You get access to my energy, to my body, to my mind, to my spirit, if you keep up your end of the bargain. That is where you state your requirements, what are definite no-nos for you, what are your non-negotiables, what it is that I don't want, what it is that I am looking for in the dating phase. So this person knows. You present the contract early. You don't wait until they start the job and then 3 months in on the job, when they're already going through probation or through with probation, now you're going to come and say, oh, well, the requirements of the job is, excuse me. And it's the same way. You don't start a job and then you don't state what it is that you're looking for, and then you're like, well, I've been working here for 2 months and I've been doing a lot of work. No, I think I should get an increase. No, when you start the job is when you tell your employer what it is that you're looking to work for, what you're willing to do, and what you want in exchange for that. So that's where you say, baby, if you cheat on me, I'm out. That's where you say that. That's where you say, baby, if you put your hand on me, somebody's going to jail. When you are dating, do not pull yourself off the shelf too early. Do not pull yourself off the shelf prematurely. I have done that. I have done that. I've done that before. And so I can speak on that. Many times, for the lover girls and the lover boys, you meet someone and you're like, oh, I like this. This is cute. This is cool. I think this person is my person. And you do that way too early. Next thing you know, you're texting everybody up like, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I think, I get it. If you are dating someone and you're feeling the vibe and everybody else automatically just eliminated themselves, or this person makes you feel like whatever, that's okay. But the idea where you're just not interested in anyone else because you're putting your all into this person, many times you're putting your all into this person, but they are still dating. They are still considering their options. And so you pull yourself off the shelf while they're still dating, and then you find out who they are dating or who they are sleeping with or whatever. Now you go crazy because, oh, I cut everybody off for you. I cut all my off for you. No, don't pull yourself off. And last but not least, and this of course is for the ladies, do not consider that man your man until he asks you to be his woman. until he says it, whatever way he says it in, until he says, you know, I would like for you to be my girlfriend. Would you be my girlfriend? Would you consider making us exclusive? Whatever way he says that. But until that man asks you to be his woman, date them all. Until that man gives you a reason to date him only, date all of them. So yeah. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful to whoever it is. If you are, listen, if you are in the dating, on the dating scene right now, if you're in the pool or you're standing on the side looking at the dating pool and you're like, oh, this dating pool is nasty, just be patient with yourself. Don't overthink it. Run away when you see the red flags. Run early. Do not try to fix anything. Do not try to change anything. Do not try to dye any red flags. If you see the flags, you see the flag early and you see that it's red, don't assume that it's pink or maybe if I could bleach it out a little bit and make it white. No ma'am. Sir, the same thing. Don't do it. Just be patient. There are good people out there, and I like to say, if I should look at it like there are no good people who are single, then what am I saying about myself? So if you're gonna say, oh, there's nobody who's really single and there's nobody who's good in the dating pool. If you are single and in the dating pool, what are you saying about yourself? Have fun. Go out on these dates, do things that you want to do, get to know yourself, get to know these people. I have learned so much about myself from dating, from talking to men, from getting to know them, from hearing what their expectations are, etc. I have learned, I have developed, I have evolved. So I can say that dating has helped me to evolve into a better woman. Again, do not forget to subscribe. Guys, thank you for the support, but do not forget to subscribe. There are so many of you who watch my videos but forget to subscribe. So yeah, this is your reminder. Subscribe to my channel, like, share, and leave a comment down below. Bye.